Okay, well, hello everybody. I hope you can all hear me clearly, and thank you, Bill, for setting the table there. I teach cultural anthropology. I've taught for about 20 years, and unfortunately, Acrobatiq does not have an anthropology class. I wish it did. But if there was one, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I would use it. And this is the only way to use it, but it's one example of how you can incorporate these kinds of analytics into a course, either online or face-to-face. So one of the things I think I would do is to review the dashboard, the learning dashboard, before class. I would take a look at whether students are engaged, whether they're doing the activities, for one thing, but also how they're doing. So I would look at the learning objectives and see what students are getting right, what they're getting wrong, where they seem to be struggling. And then I would I would identify those areas in particular where students seem to be having trouble. Say they're having a difficult time distinguishing the median from the mean or something like that. And then I would focus my planning on developing activities that address those areas. So I would think about how to explain it more clearly, what kinds of clarifications I could provide, what sorts of examples would help students really understand that issue better. Are there cases, are there questions, are there activities that students could do in class that would help them really get that thing that they're missing? I think I would also, before class, is ask students to check their own dashboard and to see for themselves where they're doing well and where they're not doing so well, and to bring questions to class. Now, when I say class, I'm including in that synchronous live sessions in an online class. So any place within an online class where you have some flexibility and ability to respond to students. You could also create little videos or audio explanations targeting these issues where students are having trouble. So those are other options for online environments. So that's what I would do before class. Then I would think about what to do during class. So one of the things I think I would try to do is to share this information with students. So I would pull the data, the dashboard up on screen and show students where they seem to be doing well, where they don't seem to be doing well, and ask them, does this match your sense of where we need to focus in this class? And I'd spend just a little bit of time double checking their understanding in those areas where the data shows that they're strong. So I wouldn't necessarily spend a lot of time on that, but I might do some clicker questions or review questions to make sure that students really do get those things that the data shows that they do. And again, I would focus a lot of what I do in that class on providing active learning opportunities in the areas where students appear weak. So more opportunities to practice or discuss or apply the information, to use it actively so that they learn it deeply. And then I would encourage students, while they're there with me, to use the dashboard themselves, to really pay attention to what they're learning and how they're learning and what's working and not working about the ways that they're studying, as a way to build metacognitive skills and to get students to take responsibility for their own learning, and to encourage them to come to me for help if they are having trouble in any particular area. So in addition to looking at it before class and going over it with students in class and using it to adjust and refine what I would do as a teacher, I would also use this data to periodically sort of check in and see what sorts of patterns are appearing. So let's say I have students from a lot of different majors in my class. I might want to look and see how they're faring. Are students from particular majors having a harder time? Do they need a little additional assistance, maybe because they lack some prior knowledge? So I'd look for those patterns, and I'd also just look to see which students seem to be struggling and identify individuals and reach out to them, just to say, you know, hey, it seems like you're not doing many of the activities, or you are, but you are having trouble with them. How can I help? Or to point them to some of the resources on campus that they could avail themselves of. But the other thing is, I wouldn't just look for students who are struggling. I'd also look for students who seem to be acing it easily. and to try to find additional challenges for them, maybe additional problem sets or questions that would get those students who seem to be sailing through the material to give them a little bit extra meat. So those are some of the things I could imagine doing periodically. Some of the general benefits that I see to using analytics to inform your teaching are these: that it allows you to be, first of all, more responsive. So responsiveness, I think, is important. And I think students really appreciate this when you say to them, I'm paying attention to what you understand and what you don't understand, and I really want to focus on the areas you need most. Another benefit, I think, is that you can really focus your instruction and provide more time on task in the areas where students need it most. Why spend a lot of time going over things they already get if you could put that time and attention into the areas that they really don't understand and really do need a little bit of extra help? And provide, and this is the third bullet, targeted practice in those areas. So ways for them to use that material over and over again until they really get it deeply. One of the major advantages, I think, to having these kind of analytics is, from students' perspective, to help them think about themselves as learners, to really start to ask themselves, what helps me learn, what doesn't help me learn, and to be more actively engaged in their own learning. So I think it can improve their metacognitive skills. It provides opportunities for us as instructors to provide more differentiated instructions. So, you know, to give students of different levels exactly what they need: more help, more challenge, whatever it happens to be. And to intervene early, to pay attention to these patterns and intervene with students before they get hopelessly overwhelmed or lost within a course, so that they know, and I think this is especially important in online courses where students can feel disconnected, so they know you're paying attention to them and care about their learning. So those are some of the ways, and I'm sure those of you who use analytics now have many other ideas about how to use this kind of data in your own teaching.